Hey guys, grab a cup of coffee and let's sit down and chat for a few minutes about New Year's resolutions. Specifically, and pay attention to that word specifically, I'd like to talk about setting New Year's resolutions that you can actually keep. How many times have you set one and then come February 1st, it's like, what resolution? I don't even remember setting a resolution. Pretty much every time for me. Before we get started, let me tell you about my morning. So I woke up this morning to the sound of my daughter spinning her wheels in the driveway, and so I thought, oh shoot, she's stuck, I need to get up and help her. By the time I got up, she was gone. She got herself sorted out just fine. But that's when I discovered that it had snowed a lot overnight. And so my first thought was, I need to go check on the goat shed because we have a cattle panel goat shelter, and it does tend to cave in. The goat, that's another long story. We only have one goat now. The goat is fine. The shelter is actually made of a enclosed dog kennel, and then the cattle panels make an arch over the top. It doesn't always shed snow as well as you would like, so if you get a lot of snow, I usually try to go out and clear it off before it collapses. But because I didn't know it was snowing like that, when I went to bed, it was just maybe like half an inch had stuck, and it was like 11 o'clock last night. I just didn't realize. So this morning I got up and had to go and shovel out the goat and pop the cattle panels back up. As I said before, it's totally okay. Like, it can collapse all the way in, and there's still plenty of headroom for the goat, but it does become a chore. I promise all this goat talk does tie in to my New Year's resolution, and we'll get to that later. So back to New Year's resolutions. If you have set a resolution that you have not kept, and I'm probably talking to everyone because I think there's very few people who actually keep their New Year's resolutions. It's not you. It's not a problem with you. And it's probably not a problem with your resolution. What it probably is that you set a resolution and it was a big goal and you failed to break it into smaller goals. So what I'm talking about is, for instance, if my goal is to grow more food this year, growing more food isn't actually a goal. There is nothing in the phrase growing more food that actually sets you up to grow more food. I need to get really specific about the steps I'm going to take that actually produce the result of more food. So, for instance, it is, by the time you see this, probably early January, late December, early January. And if I want to grow more food, some early steps I can take is perhaps to start researching which varieties grow best in my area. So what I would do is maybe poll the neighbors, ask my neighbors what grows best for them. Look into some seed companies that have produced seeds specifically for my region. And I can spend a couple weeks just researching varieties that grow well in my area and that my family is likely to enjoy. Another small step might be to have my soil tested. Now, if you live in the northern states, your soil might not be accessible right now, but what you can do is go ahead and order your soil test kit. Or you can find out where locally you could get your soil tested so that when spring melt comes, you're ready to do that step. You can be researching where you can source amendments so that you're all set once spring comes. And so then just by breaking that big goal of growing more food into small things, tangible, specific steps you can actually take, you're a lot more likely to reach that goal. My goal is not to grow more food this year. I already know my late summer and fall is going to be crazy. I'm not going to have time to do a lot of extra preservation, so I'm actually not growing more food this year. My homestead goal this year, oh my gosh, do you hear him whining? This dog has not yet learned. He's almost 2, and he has not yet learned that the cats don't want to play with him. So he follows the cat around, whining. He'll get down. You know how dogs kind of get down and wiggle their butt and try to get the cat to play, and then the cat just kicks his butt every day, and he has not learned that she doesn't want to play with him. It's ridiculous. he is such a smart dog, but this one area, slowest learner ever. he's like an 8th grade boy chasing after a girl. Like, get the clue, guy. She doesn't want to play with you. So anyways, my goal this year is not to grow more food. My goal, my number one homestead goal, and this relates back to the goat pen story, is to finish unfinished projects. As homesteaders, we do a lot of making do, and we have a lot of makeshift. I'm trying really hard not to say we have, because that's never our intention, but a lot of times we will get a project completed just to the point where it's functional but not really tied up, and then we just kind of forget and move on to the next thing. So my goal this year is to wrap up those unfinished projects, and some of the specific steps I'm going to take to make that happen are walk around. The first thing is just walk around with my notebook and write down all the unfinished projects. Now, I'm not looking for projects that need to be started. I'm just looking for things that we've started and not completed. Or I'm looking for baling twine holding the gate on, because we bought the gate and we have the stuff, but we just haven't put it together properly yet. I'm looking for, that garden box that we have all the supplies for and we never finished. So I'm going to just walk around and write all that down. Actually, the first thing I can already tell you, the first project we need to finish is our bathroom floor. And that's a good one for this time of year, right? I can't really do a lot of things outdoors right now. So our bathroom floor, when we first moved in, was carpet. And at some point we replaced the toilet, and I was like, ooh, this is great. I'll be able to see what's under the carpet. And so I pulled up a little edge, and what was under that carpet was another carpet. And that one was glued down. So I was like, okay, this is a bigger project than we can do right now. We're going to put this off. And then, oh gosh, maybe 2 years ago, I got a wild hair one day, and I was like, I'm going to pull all this carpet up. So I pulled the first carpet up, and that was fine. And then I started pulling the second carpet, and some of the glue was just so stuck that I was like, okay, I didn't properly plan this. I have one day off. I'm never going to be able to finish this. I'm just going to put some laminate over the carpet. And so I went to Home Depot, and our Home Depot actually doesn't carry sheet vinyl. So I was like, oh, I'll just get these squares. So I got these stick-on squares, and it looked great. It's cute enough. It did stick really well to the carpet, and I realize this is so gross, you guys. Carpet in bathroom is actually just other people's pee and mold. If you didn't know, that's what that is. So this house is 100 years old, and I don't think it's 100 years of pee and mold. It's probably like 60. But so I did just cover it with vinyl squares. Go on. Shoo. Go play with the dog. She's not gonna. Anyway, so I know that's gross, but it was like good enough for now. Anyways, this fall our water heater leaked, and so we did end up having to pull up like the squares, and then the carpet just was never drying. So I pulled out all the wet carpet. The nice thing about it being wet is it loosened up the glue, and so that carpet, all of it that was wet, came up really easily. And I was like, okay, it was like, this is our only day off. We've got to, stop the problem. And so now we have a bathroom that is half 2 layers of carpet and 1 layer of peel and stick vinyl. And then the other half is just bare floor that needs to be sanded down, and there's still a little bit of glue stuck to it. So we'll have to finish prepping that. But so yeah, the first thing on my unfinished projects list is the bathroom floor. And I actually, just for Christmas, we ordered the vinyl. I'm really a practical person. I'm hard to shop for. So if you ever see my husband buy me a vacuum, just know that that is like absolutely going to thrill me. So one of my Christmas gifts was, excuse me, So one of my Christmas gifts was ordering the vinyl for the bathroom floor. And that is going to be here the first week of January. So our first goal is to finish prepping the bathroom floor. And so, yeah, once I have all my goals prioritized, then I can start seeing, which of those projects do we already have the supplies on hand? Probably most of them, because when we started the project, fully intended on finishing it. So just prioritize those, figure out which needs to be done first, or things that are going to get worse by not finishing right away. We'll prioritize. And then for each of those projects, you break that into smaller steps too, right? Like, give the mouse a cookie. What's the first thing I need to do to get this project done? So, what are your homestead goals this year? Let me know in the comments, and bonus points if you can break it into a few specific steps that you can take to make it happen. All right, Happy New Year. Get your notebook, make your list, break your goal into some tasks, and let's finish our coffee and go get started. See you next time.